the bind that Mario Draghi and the ECB finds itself in continues, Simon.
It does. I think the issue is that they want to expand their balance sheet, but they can't do it in the way that other central banks have done in terms of buying assets, the way the Fed and the Bank of England do in the early part of the crisis. They've tried to sort of do it because the structure is different in the Eurozone through the banking sector in terms of enticing through the TLTROs, etc. It's not worked, but also banks have repaid more loans. So in a sense, they're pushing on a string, and I think that's Draghi's problems now. But conversely, a weaker euro does help in that.
How much weaker is it going to get? I mean, we've seen 11 consecutive weeks of gains for the dollar index now. How much weaker does the euro go?
I think the trend is still likely to continue. Naturally, there could be some sort of short-term adjustment over month-end, etc. But longer term, if you want to be long the dollar, where are you going to look? You can look at the euro because those central banks that are wanting to push policy in the opposite direction. So you've got the euro. You've also got the Aussie and Kiwi as well because they're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Kiwi. There seems to be a lot of doing the rounds on the Kiwi this morning after the central bank governor there said the current levels are unjustified. This is sending the Kiwi down to a 12-month low, and it sort of reflects what's going on with the Aussie, right?
Yeah, there's a reflection. Both central banks in their statements at policy meetings have said, in various different ways that their currencies are overvalued value versus fundamentals, etc. And just to sort of paraphrase, but it's interesting that Wheeler, the RBNZ governor this morning, was very pointed in his speech, saying basically it's unjustified, the current levels of the Kiwi. So that did push it considerably low. And you have to think at this point in time, those are the currencies that have done very well out of the commodity boom, especially the Aussie over the recent years. It has naturally come off, but if you look at the pattern of commodity prices first half of the year, you could say it has held up pretty well. So I think both those currencies are vulnerable to further losses, and if you want to go along the dollar, then they look more the favoured ways to do it.
All right, very quick comment on sterling. I know Mark Carney, we haven't heard from him for a while, but he's giving this speech in Wales, I think it is today. Anything set to put sterling on fire from this speech?
I don't think so. Naturally, the middle of the year, he was quite pointed in the market, a sort of undervaluation of risks of a tightening this year. I think even though we're seeing two members of the MPC vote for higher rates, I still think it's likely to be a stretch. We see higher rates this year, I think more the turn of next year. So I think he's done enough to sort of upset markets for this year. So I think at the moment, he's probably just going to keep things steady as they are.